I've recently gotten into the habit of checking the How to Train Your Dragon Homecoming wiki page every few days or so to see if there's any updates. Well, on Tuesday, October 8th, I was not disappointed. Hey y'all, I'm the Geek Apprentice with yet another How to Train Your Dragon video, specifically an update news video, if you will, for the Snoggletog short How to Train Your Dragon Homecoming, releasing this Christmas, December 3rd specifically. This was actually excellent timing, seeing as the video I had originally planned to be my second video for the week was just not coming together. The script was fine, it was just I wasn't able to record when I normally would, and it just, I figured, well, I'll just do one video. But then, later that night, which was a Tuesday night, I saw this info and thought, I've got to record this as soon as possible. So without further ado, let's get to it. Each piece of news, like I said, comes from the How to Train Your Dragon Homecoming wiki page, which does a great job of keeping up with all of the latest tidbits and news. On Tuesday when I was checking it, it kind of looked like the same it had always been for the past couple of weeks, until I noticed there was extra plot descriptions. The first comes from Target.com, which has a pre-order set for a book, a How to Train Your Dragon children's book, based on, well, it says inspired by this short coming out soon. It releases on November 5th, almost a full month before the short comes out. So while I will probably get it as soon as possible, and it's pretty cheap, I'm probably not going to read it until after I've seen the short, in case there are spoilers, if you will. But the description of the story provided by Target.com for this book, inspired by the short, confirms what I said in the last How to Train Your Dragon Homecoming news video about it taking place after Hiccup and his family have visited and reunited with Toothless. The description is as follows. Celebrate the season with your favorite dragons and Vikings from the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy with this storybook inspired by the all-new special coming to your screen this holiday. Snoggletog is the best time of the year. It's been 10 years since the dragons moved to the Hidden World, and even though Toothless doesn't live in New Berk anymore, Hiccup continues the holiday traditions he once shared with his best friend. But the Vikings of New Berk were beginning to forget about their friendship with the dragons. Hiccup, Astrid, and Gobber know just what to do to keep the dragons in the villagers' hearts. And across the sea, the dragons have a plan of their own. First of all, I know it says 10 years, and when they go to visit and reunite with Toothless, it's been 9 years, but it could have been like 9.5 years, and this is like 6 months later, so the timeline does fit. So it sounds like Hiccup and everyone else are planning something for the villagers that doesn't involve the dragons, just to remind them of them. Well, okay, it does involve the dragons, but not actually going to the Hidden World and trying to bring them back. However, Toothless, probably nostalgic from reuniting with his best friend after so many years, has a plan of his own. But it's not just him. The description reads, the dragons, plural, which means multiples, which means probably familiar old reptile faces. Yes, this is a book inspired by the short and not the short itself. However, I do believe it's safe to say that it'll be pretty much exactly like whatever the short is going to be. Oh, I also discovered this image when I was going through my Pinterest earlier today, which today is Wednesday when I'm recording this, which I'll put on the screen somewhere, that looks like it's the book cover for the little Target book thing. It looks pretty legit. And we know it's the book because of what it says in the bottom right corner. So we have some art, but it's for the book and not for the short. But you can tell by the center of the picture that what they mean by pageant is literally putting on a show for everyone. Retelling, I guess, the stories of Hiccup and Toothless, so that should be interesting. The second update comes from a site called Deals R Us, in which they have a different description of the short for their pre-order of the DVD. And theirs is actually more expensive than Best Buy, which is weird, so I'm going to be buying from Best Buy, not from them. Now, their description flat out says that Toothless coming back is a surprise visit, and just a visit. They're not staying. That defeats the whole purpose, but here's what it reads. When it becomes clear that the new generation of Vikings doesn't remember the bond between dragon and human, Hiccup sets a plan to celebrate with a grand Snoggletog holiday pageant and gets a heartwarming surprise visit from Toothless for one more adventure. Reunite with Hiccup, Astrid, Toothless, Light Fury, and all your friends on the Isle of New Berk in How to Train Your Dragon Homecoming, a brand new adventure based upon the critically acclaimed How to Train Your Dragon film trilogy. Okay, so like I said, not much to this other than Toothless visiting is a surprise visit. It's not planned by Hiccup to go get him, so still, news is news. What's really crazy is that since the Target book comes out before the actual short itself on DVD, we could go ahead and spoil ourselves in the beginning of November. However, I personally won't, even though I will probably buy it and then just tuck it away and hide it and avoid temptation, which, trust me, I'll be able to do. So that's crazy to think about. So obviously this isn't huge breaking news, but it is an update at the very least, and I'm excited about that. If you would like to hear more about this short, predictions I've made, cool story ideas that I've come up with, then check the description for more videos that I've made about this topic very, very recently. How excited are you for this short? I'm still very glad I managed to talk myself into being excited for this. If you've watched my previous stuff, you've been keeping up with my How to Train Your Dragon videos, you know why I'm always skeptical. Anyway, let me know in the comment section your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, maybe consider sharing it with your fellow How to Train Your Dragon loving friends and acquaintances, while maybe also subscribing and checking out other geeky videos of mine, like these. But other than that, that is all for today. Thank you for watching.